mi gente con estrella, y hoy tenemos terapia física con Denise Monert Feliciano. Ella es una profesional que ejerce hace 25 años aquí en su propia práctica con su staff. La misión de ellos es educar a sus pacientes y mejorar con ellos su vida a través de la terapia. Gracias, Denise, por estar aquí.
Thank you for having me.
Ella tiene un bachillerato y un máster en UCF y en Nova University en terapia física, así que les va a hablar todo de balance y nos va a decir la verdad. Hay cosas que no nos gustan tanto, pero ya saben, los valientes no nos rendimos. Hacer ejercicio. Y Denise, ¿se puede mejorar el balance y el equilibrio?
Absolutely. So research shows that physical therapy will help with balance, strength, and functional mobility. And the research shows that once you do a certain amount of sessions of treatment, that you improve certain measures like walking, getting through doors, getting out of cars, and general functional mobility.
¡Wow! ¡Qué buena noticia!
So let's begin with some balance exercises that can help you with walking in the community, walking at home, trying to maneuver things, but we're really going to focus on single leg stance and weight shifting, because walking is basically walking on one leg as you put the other leg through. So if you're not good at that, you're going to always feel off and imbalanced. So let's do the first one, okay? So the first one is very simple. You're going to put your feet shoulder width apart. Okay, good. Perfecto. Ahora, lado a lado. Put all the weight, todo el peso. Ajá, arriba de esa pierna. Ok. Si es fácil, ok, trata con una mano. Y hazle como, o dos, ya, perfecto. Si puedes ir a hacer como 3 segundos en cada lado, eso es mejor. Ok, porque estamos poniendo más tiempo en un pie. Y cuando tú avanzas and you can do better than this and you feel comfortable, ahora tú empiezas a poner el pie on the toe. Ok, so pon un pie en el toe un poquito, ahí. Y so cuando está en este lado, levanta el pie así. Y después el otro lado, ok, cambia. Go on this one, hasta la izquierda, así. Y que quizás es más fácil a mover un pie y no el otro. So tú tienes que tener, be aware of that so you can work on it. So that's the first step. Porque tú puedes usar the kitchen counter. If you're not in a clinic, you can use a kitchen counter, anything that's steady to put pressure on. Mm-hmm. So it's very easy, but it's such a simple exercise, but it's really the foundation of that shifting your body. It makes you be aware of where your center is and that you come all the way over onto that leg. Because many times you stop shifting all the way because you're afraid to fall. So this is good practice. That's perfect, Maite. Very nice. Now let's do the next one. All right, ready? So let's do another one. That was great. So now let's do where one foot is in front, one foot is in back, and this is going to mimic how your walking pattern is. So we're just separating your feet, yep, and you're watching that you're centered, and I'm just going to turn your foot a little bit like that. Okay, so as you're standing, put all the weight on the front foot, and then stand straight. Más, 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 aha. And then you go to the back foot. Very good. And you want to hold it for a few seconds because this is that one leg stance that you want. So you want to get really good at this, and this is going to force you to start standing on one leg with better balance. That's perfect. Good. Is one leg easier than the other?
Es más difícil hacia atrás que hacia adelante. Hacia adelante es fácil.
Y de atrás,
es difícil.
Porque te sientes que te vas a caer. o
No, porque no puedo levantar el pie
el
tanto.
pie? Okay,
En
pero
poner
no
el
tienes
pie.
a poner el pie para arriba. It's okay. If you go back and you can't lift it, it's okay. It's just to, you focus on that you're putting the weight on each leg evenly.
Okay.
And like you go all the way back, that all the load is on this leg. That's good. So it's making your muscles work in your belly and your back and your spine. Very good. Great.
Y
If you feel like your calves are tight, that will affect, your motion. So we'll look at stretches later on how you can make sure you stretch the calves, okay? So for some of the people that are more advanced and maybe this is getting easy, a foam pad is great to use. And to create an unstable surface, it's like walking on grass. It's more difficult if it's uneven. This creates an instability. They could use a large pillow or a thick pillow in the house. Puede una almohada, pero tiene que ser dense. Como tú dices dense in Spanish, like a little more firm.
Grueso.
Yeah.
Pero todas estas cosas se pueden encontrar en Amazon.
Yeah.
¿Ven? Me gradué del primer ejercicio, por eso me está poniendo más difícil. Graduada.
Okay, so go right on there, just like we did the first exercise. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to get, lift. Good. And then, So when you're standing on this, you're going to feel it's a little different.
Yeah.
Okay? And so it's going to be a little harder, but this is another way to advance. So people who need to hold on to a bar or the kitchen, counter or whatever it is that's stable, you can start practicing by doing one hand at a time, like pon una mano para arriba, así, and only use that hand to help you. So when you stay on this side with this hand up, and then go left to right con, y con esta mano se queda ahí para ayudar. Si no lo necesita, mejor, ¿verdad? Pero like just to be safe, if they need it, they have it. So the next exercise is going to force your balance even more because we're going to put you in a position where both feet are in front of the other. So you're going to center one foot and then get your heel in front of your toe and then center yourself in the middle. Good. Once you have your center, that means there's weight on both feet equally. Then you can start lifting a hand and challenging yourself. Good. And then hold 3 to 5 seconds. Just start challenging yourself to, you look very steady. So this is kind of easy for you. So we'll make it harder. Our therapists like to make things harder. So once you accomplish things, we have to make it harder. So your feet will be that way. But what you want to do is move your body forward and back in the same position with one hand, two hands, and then no hands. But first we just get center, okay? And then just shift your body a little bit forward. 1, 2, 3. A little bit backwards. 1.
Ahora está más difícil.
Yeah. So what you want to do, so you're challenging yourself with movement because you can do it standing steady. But when you're walking around, there's a lot of movement going on in your upper body and lower body. Yeah, good. And you don't have, in this exercise, you don't have to lift your feet up. You can keep them flat and just keep them both flat. And you're just learning to move your center. So you're learning to move your center forward and learning to move it back. And that's very subtle, but it's very good to learn because it will help you start managing where you are, knowing where you are in space. Very good.
Es muy difícil.
Yeah, this is a harder one. That was good.
Parece fácil, pero no es nada fácil.
Very
Porque
good.
tengo que agarrarme a las barras, no puedo hacer sola.
And then if you want to, challenge yourself, just do, 2 fingers. If you're, next to something steady, or, put both fingers on each side, and that will challenge you to get better and better at it.
Y la intención está en el estómago.
tú vas get good posture, and then when you have that posture, you're going to move the center, like between your belly button and your pelvis. So you're moving your center forward and backward. And that will start getting you to direct a little bit of your core muscles to help you with the positioning. See, you're already like better at it. There's less wobble happening. That looks good. All right, so next one.
Pero dice Denise que si sienten pérdida de balance, eso no es mala señal, es que los músculos están trabajando,
Right.
estamos haciendo bien.
Yeah.
Yo estoy haciendo a propósito
Lo
todo
más
lo que
difícil,
puedo, lo
yeah.
más difícil para que ustedes vean que sí se puede y que más adelante, dentro de un tiempo, después de estas repeticiones, no va a pasar en un día,
Right.
aunque ya
Yeah.
me siento
Debe
más
estar
fuerte.
consistente con los ejercicios cada semana, esto, pero también las otras cosas que necesita hacer, aerobic exercise and strengthening. So, this is a combination. It's not one thing. You have to do a combination of exercises to really maximize what you can do.
Es toda una teoría, pero ustedes saben, Denise quiere que por lo menos 3 días a la semana, con intensidad moderada, trabajemos a la mitad de nuestro pulso, de nuestro corazón, cómo corre. Y ya saben lo que les he dicho, mente, alimento, movimiento.
Yeah.
Pero es que movimiento en nosotros es todo. Así que sí o sí tenemos que hacer ejercicio.
Definitely, like, the research shows moderate exercise. You have to have that intensity. So I want to make sure that you give your audience like that information so they know how to figure out what their max heart rate is. And we talked about this. It's 220 minus your age. And then whatever that number is, you're going to do 50% of that heart rate. So your heart rate moderate exercise is the best for MS. You don't want to go into high intensity. You don't want to be at low intensity. So it's important because they want to do what the best they can do for their symptoms. And that's just the way to do it. And this is just to integrate into their program. All of these exercises will help. All right, do you want to try the more difficult one? Okay, so depending on the person's ability and where they are and how much movement they have in the hips when you're walking, it's always right, normally like the hip flexors are difficult to move forward. So it's hard sometimes to do steps, right? So one of the things to practice along with the weight shift is the lift, right? So this is how I do it. So I put something that you can kind of get over easily. And then as you get better, we make it a little bit bigger, okay? So let's take something very small and we're gonna put it by your foot and then you're gonna put your right foot where it's centered to the object. So the middle of the foot is centered to the object. And then you're gonna put all your weight on your right leg, just like if you're walking. And then you're gonna do the lift over the object and come up. Good. And then you put all the weight on the front leg. Stand tall. So the more you practice your posture as you're walking, the better it will be on a daily. And then put all the weight on the right and then all the way back. And then stand tall. So this is just an exaggerated way of walking, but the more you do it, it will start translating into your daily life. But you have to do it and you have to practice it.
Bueno, ahora van a ver este mismo ejercicio con la pierna derecha. Con la pierna izquierda era una fiesta, pero con la derecha que no tengo ningún tipo de... Estoy un poquito atrofiada porque he perdido mucha movilidad, aunque estoy convencida de que les digo, he perdido, pero no un poco, porque lo voy a recuperar haciendo lo que dice Denise, pero este sí es un reto para mí hacerlo y quiero que lo vean en cámara.
And that's the one you want to practice. Que tienes a practicar lo más difícil. Eso es la única manera que va a
que voy a mejorar.
Yeah. Ahí vamos a ponerla aquí en este lado. Okay, let me Pon esta pierna acá. So el medio del pie está en nivel de eso. Now when you're getting on this left side, put all the weight on your left side, derechita. And then you bring the right foot over, con intención. Levanta.
Oh.
Así. Y después, put all the weight back. Para acá, por acá. And then go back.
Oh.
¿Ve? It's good. So, but that's what you practice. So, si estamos en clínica contigo and on this foot, I would just practice like having you, like, you know, go over something on the floor. And then practice, yeah. And then, yep. And then I would do strengthening on this leg with the hip flexor para ayudarte, tener la fuerza para hacer la posición, you know. So that was very good. I mean, you did well. So one of the things that we've talked about, and that seems to bother you if you stand and walk a lot, is lower back pain, right? Mm-hmm. And that's not, you know, uncommon. It's common even with just orthopedic patients. You know, the lower back starts hurting because we compress that L4, L5 quite a bit when we walk. So you start getting some low back. So when you're doing standing balance exercises, I want to make sure that everybody does this because it will help to decrease pressure at the lower back. It's very important to stretch. So you can stretch in between all of these stretches. You don't have to wait till the end or do it just at the beginning. Maybe in the middle, you know, you do a little bit of stretching and then you continue. So this is one of my favorite stretches. It's just a standing back stretch. We're going to use the bars, but at home, you know, you could use a counter. So I want you to put your hands all the way in length on the bar because it's going to stretch your shoulders and you're going to have your feet, ankles underneath your hips. And then you're going to line up your head with your spine. So you want the whole spine to be nice and lined up. That's great. And so you can see it stretches here. So if you have a problem here, it'll start stretching here. So if you have a problem where your hamstrings are very tight, you're going to feel a lot of stretching back here first. As you keep doing this, you will feel less and less pain in your legs, and you'll start effectively stretching your spine. So do you feel a stretch in the back of your legs?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel a stretch in your hips? Not as much.
Not as much.
Okay. So this is where
los brazos sí.
Yeah. And so you want to have that and hold it for about 20 to 30 seconds and nice deep breathing. So you expand your rib cage. Yep. And make sure you keep your head like right in line. Yep, perfect. So when you're really stretching here, if it's easy for you, you can just tilt your pelvis up a little and then bring it back, and that will stretch you more. That's good. But you have a very good alignment, you know, in your spine, so that's good. But everybody can work on that. So come up slowly so you don't get dizzy. Be very nice and easy. And so you can do that and pepper that in. I would say, you know, at least 3 to 5 times a day. 3 to 5 times just once a day. Okay, not a day. So you just pepper that in, and that will help with getting this more flexible so that when you're walking, you just feel more at ease. You don't feel as stiff. Okay? So, and then that's one of the recommendations that the Multiple Sclerosis Society has recommended, that you do at least 10 minutes of stretching daily, and then at least 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity exercise. Okay? So might say one of the stretches I recommend you to do is to start doing a little bit more stretching in your calves. Because right now, you know, when you're walking, a lot of times people will start walking with their feet down, right? You don't do the normal. So you start losing kind of that motion in the ankle. And what we want to do is make sure we have good motion by doing calf stretching. And then again, 20 to 30 seconds. And what you want to do is 1 foot forward, left foot back. Okay, we're going to do this leg. Keep your knees straight on this side, and then bring your body forward until you feel a stretch into the calf, and make sure that your heel stays down while you do it. So you'll feel an effective stretch through here. And then I'm going to show you that if you bend your knee here a little bit, and you're keeping your heel down, you'll also get the soleus muscle, which is underneath, and that's another calf muscle that you can stretch when you bend. That's perfect. And then do about 20 to 30 seconds on each one, and then slowly come out of it. And then always do the other side. I would recommend you do at least 3 to 5 of them. And remember, the holding is the important part. If you don't give time for the muscle to actually stretch, it will stay in that tight state. Very good. So you're doing the one with the bend, which is that soleus, the muscle underneath. And then when you want to do the calf, the gastroc, you're going to do the straight knee and then just lean forward with your body. Good. Yep, and breathe, yep. Should never be painful, should always feel like a dull, achy stretch. And that's very important because if you're feeling pain, then you're not maybe in good alignment or something's wrong. So it shouldn't be painful, it should be just a dull, achy discomfort, but never anything sharp. Espero que estos ejercicios de balance te ayuden en tu vida y agradezco a Maite hacer este video para ayudar a la gente. Y si tienes preguntas, por favor, déjanos en los mensajes y nosotros tratamos de ayudarte.
Claro que sí, estoy segurísima que vamos a tener un balance perfecto en poco tiempo porque vamos a hacer estos ejercicios maravillosos que nos ha enseñado Denise. Si se puede, bendiciones.